Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Business Wealth Show. This is Tuesday, therefore it is Top Tip Tuesday time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. If you are watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you are here. I would love to know that you are tuning in today. So please do let me know if you are watching. I appreciate you tuning in and I appreciate you joining me. So thank you so much for that. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Annette Ferguson. I am CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I am a chartered accountant, certified profit first professional and financial strategist, and I help business owners take home lots more money from their business for them and their families to enjoy. In today's top tip, I want to share with you a top tip that I was given around 11 years ago, nearly 12 years ago, when I first started up my business. It is a tip that has stuck with me over the years. But when I was first given this tip, I failed miserably at it. And I'm going to explain why I failed miserably at it and how you can avoid failing miserably at it as well. So the top tip that I was given all those years ago by a business mentor, business coach, whichever term you want to use, a business teacher, whichever is applicable for you, depending on your definition of all those things, was that business owners should start their day working on their business and doing 90 minutes of working on their business every morning. But for me, I could never, ever get into that habit because I always felt like I needed to check my emails. I already had client calls in the diary. I needed to go do other things, networking events, or whatever those happened to be. And I never felt like I was able to dedicate those 90 minutes every single morning, every single work morning, that is, to my business and working on my business. We all know the term working on your business rather than in your business. So in your business is on the proverbial tools, whether that's client calls, whether that's you're actually working with tools, or whether you're, selling in retail, whatever that happens to be. So working in your business is marketing, sales, strategy, those things, not the delivery, basically. And so I could never get into this habit of working for 90 minutes first thing in the morning on my business rather than in my business. Mainly because I felt like I was being pulled in other places and I wasn't able to therefore dedicate the time. That's what I felt at the time. But looking back, that's not really the actual reason. There are two real reasons why I didn't focus that time and I wasn't able to implement this. One big reason was that in reality, I actually didn't know what I should do during those 90-minute set-aside sessions. I didn't know what I should focus on, why I should focus on those things, and what I needed to do in order to make a difference. And the reason I didn't know why was because actually I hadn't planned enough. I hadn't done the work before that, which was planning out my business, planning out my quarter, planning out my month, planning out the action points that I needed to take in order to reach the goals that I had. I hadn't done that bit of it. And that therefore meant that actually when it came to those segments of time, if I'd put them in my diary at all, and I'll come to that as my second point, then I didn't really know what I should be doing with that time. And I just kind of faffed around, quite frankly, and it wasn't focused in any way. Whereas now I have planning time in my diary, and in that planning time, I can set up what I'm going to be doing in those other slots of time. I actually have those action points, those things that I need to do. Now, if you're new to business, it might be really difficult to know what those action points are. So some of those action points could be research how to do X, Y, and Z. That could be the starting point for your action points, but actually getting to a place where you have actionable items that you can then go as to-dos and tick off. I often do it on paper, which is why I'm physically saying tick off. But of course, you can do a lot of this in a project management tool. We also, as a team, use Asana as well as a project management tool. But making sure that you have those actionable tasks that you can tick off, which are the ones that are you working on your business, which are the ones that move the needle, which move you closer to your goals. So you can see you need to track back and work out what those are. Now, Brooke Castillo, who I'm a big fan of, who has the Life Coach School podcast, she speaks about the impossible goal, and in your pursuit of the impossible goal, having 25 fails, I think it is a month, but it might even be a week, in order to reach your impossible goal. And that is basically what are the action points you're going to take in pursuit of your goal, because of course, all the action points we take will not pay off. Not every single one of them will work, but making sure that we are taking action, making sure that we are moving ourselves forward by the action taking and knowing which actions to take. Like I say, you won't always get those actions right. Sometimes the actions that you take will result in nothing at all. Sometimes you'll be taking action now for something way in the future. So for example, the recording of my podcast, Uncover Wealth Radio, which by the way, if you're not subscribed already, do make sure you go to your podcast player and put Uncover Wealth Radio into the search bar and come and subscribe. So, a podcast is a long game. I am not expecting, there we go. Thank you for popping that on the screen there. So I am not expecting my podcast to, produce hundreds of clients in the first year or two of running it. But we're in year 2 now, incidentally. But, come year 8, 9, and 10, it may very well pay dividends. And so there are some things that you're doing now as action points where you will not see a huge uplift, a hugely significant change until way into the future. And other things you will see them in a relatively short space of time. So that's important to remember as well when you're going through your action points and you are getting those things done. Now, the second reason that I failed at that 90 minutes a day of working on my business was because I didn't diarize it. Or rather, I did diarize it, but I didn't take a meeting with myself as seriously as I took a meeting with somebody else. So when I put a meeting with myself in my diary back in the day, all those years ago, that was kind of flexible. And if a client wanted to speak to me at that time, I just said, yeah, no problem. I didn't move the diary appointment with myself. I just overbooked it, basically. And I didn't treat those appointments with myself as seriously as I could have, should have, might have done. Now, when I put a appointment for myself in my diary, it is written in my diary. It is there. It is an appointment. If I'm working on strategy, if I'm working on recordings, if I'm working on my action points, if I am doing marketing, whatever that is in my diary, if it's in my diary, it's as important as any client or sales call that is in my diary. And it doesn't get overwritten for any reason. It is there because that thing needs to be done in order to achieve my goals, in order to support my team, whatever those things are. So holding myself accountable to the meetings I have arranged with myself was the other thing that I was not doing. So I was not able to implement this tip that I received all those years ago. The tip is solid. It is the underlying that caused the issues, the not understanding the action points because I had not set aside time for planning, or if I had, I just overwrote it like I just explained. And the second, holding myself to those meetings that I have with myself was the other reason that I was not implementing that. Now, things are very different. And now I do have time in the diary for those things. And I make sure that I know what I'm doing in that time, and I hold myself accountable to that time being set aside as well. So I hope that this top tip for Top Tip Tuesday has been useful for you and given you some takeaways so that you avoid falling foul of my mistakes that I made as well. I thank everyone for watching the Business Wealth Show. I massively appreciate your time because I know it is incredibly precious. Whilst you are here, I would love to invite you to join me for the Wealth Lab, Building Your Implementable Profit Plan. The Wealth Lab starts on January the 18th. So as, excuse me, if you're watching this live, that is only a handful, 6 days away, a handful of days away. Not quite a handful. We don't have 6 fingers. You know what I mean. It's not so long away. And you can register. You can go to annetteandco.co.uk/TWL, standing for the Wealth Lab. It is completely free. I am live every day next week where I will step you through exactly how to build a profit plan for your business. A profit plan basically gets your business from where it is now to where you want it to be in the next 12 months, outlining the profitability and, much more importantly, your take home every single month for the next 12 months. These things can be planned. These things can come to fruition. We do it for clients on a one-to-one basis. We do it for clients within the Business Wealth Academy. I do it for my own business, and it absolutely can be done. And I want to teach you exactly how to do it in the Wealth Lab, Building Your Implementable Profit Plan. So do make sure you register for that so that you can take part. As I say, I will be live every single day next week to step you through each piece of the profit plan so you can come away from that week with a fully built out profit plan in your business. So important. It is one of the things that clients say to us that just kind of blows their mind, that actually they've never looked at their business this way before, and it is game changing for their business. So please do come and register for that. Make sure that you set yourself some time to take part as well. The videos are at 1:30 p.m. UK every day next week, and there are replays available for a few days if you can't make the odd session. But if you can't make the odd session, make sure you put time in your diary to catch up. Don't fall foul of that mistake that I explained that I did, where I didn't hold those meetings with myself to the highest possible level. Make sure that you do hold those meetings with yourself in the same regard as you would any other, and invest this time in the profitability of your business. Because even though, as we are speaking now, we are currently in lockdown in most of the UK, you can still predict the profitability of your business over the next 12 months. It's completely doable, even in this current climate. So do make sure you join me for that, because I cannot wait to support you in doing that. So I hope that this tip also today has been useful for you. I hope that you can get that time in your diary for the things that you need to happen in your business, for that planning, and then for that daily focus on the thing that moves the needle and moves you closer to your goals. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will speak very soon. Take care, everyone.